Gareth Southgate has been talked about a lot, and I saw this with Dean Saunders and Jamie O'Hara on the Wonderful Breakfast Show. They're talking about Gareth Southgate to become a Premier League manager, regardless of what happens in the Euros, win or lose. Apparently, Jose Mourinho once said that after that England job, he could get any job in the Premier League. Let's hear from Dean Saunders, who joined Jamie O'Hara on the talkSPORT Breakfast Show this morning. They were discussing whether Gareth Southgate would make a good club manager.
If you give him a budget like Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, then he's got a chance of winning something. But if you manage Crystal Palace, you are going to have a bad run.
I don't think Gareth Southgate can come out of the England job and take over a Championship club.
No, he's better than that.
You know, he's better than that.
Yeah.
You know, he's been working with world-class players, Man City players, you know, Harry Kane and, you know, Arsenal players. You know, he deserves the opportunity to be given a big job.
Yeah, and if you survive as manager of England, was it 8 years?
Yeah.
If you survive 6 months as manager of England without crumbling and staying in your bedroom for 4 years, because you get slaughtered, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So he's doing something right.
That was Dean Saunders and Jamie O'Hara speaking on The Breakfast Show in regards to Gareth Southgate and whether or not he'd make a good club manager. We've been talking about club managers. We've got a debate going on. We've got a poll going on. Rory Jennings, Mauricio Pochettino leaves Stamford Bridge tomorrow. There's a lot of young talent in that Chelsea squad. Gareth Southgate gets appointed. Are you happy?
Oh, you are joking. I didn't see you going there with that question. Oh,
I am. This is the England manager.
I mean, it's very rare that I'm speechless. Obviously not. Obviously, Gareth Southgate doesn't get anywhere near the Chelsea job.
Why not? He's the England manager.
No, he is the England manager, but I think there have been countless examples of very average managers staying for a significant amount of time as England manager. I mean, Roy Hodgson was one of the worst England managers around, and he managed to preside over 3 tournaments.
Yeah,
like it's ludicrous. Like I went out to Brazil for that World Cup. It's meant to be the Brazil World Cup 2014. I was so excited for it. England, exactly. It was going to be brilliant. It was going to be incredible. England, it was a new low for English football. It was a new low, which is difficult to achieve with England. Roy Hodgson managed to preside over a new low. We were out of the World Cup before we even kicked a ball in our third game. We didn't even need to bother playing our third game in the group because we were already out.
I've erased it from my memory. What was it again?
We played Uruguay in the second game in Sao Paulo. Luis Suarez. Rooney scored for England. Luis Suarez battered Gary Cahill and ended up they ended up winning. We drew with Italy in the first game in Manaus, which meant that by the time we went to Belo Horizonte to play Costa Rica, it was a dead rubber. So I'm in Belo Horizonte, like people are doing a conga in the ground and that. Like it meant nothing, which is a new low for English football. Then we go to where? We go to France. 2 years later, off the back of presiding over the worst possible World Cup with England, out before we even play the third game, he gets given a France gig. How on earth do you keep your job when you have done what you did in Brazil? He then takes us to France and Iceland on a Monday night in Nice. So staying for a significant period as England manager demonstrates what exactly?
Well, I think it's the fact that we became so close with things with this England manager. It's been an improvement. That's what people possibly say. I had a message here from someone. Wouldn't have Gareth Southgate at Wycombe Wanderers, mate.
Yeah, and he's right.
Okay, as they were trying to decipher on the show, where do you think Gareth Southgate's level as a Premier League manager would be?
But he's not a Premier League manager, mate.
You're saying that
Absolutely not.
The England manager comes out of the Euros, he can't get a Premier League job.
You are being very clever here because you were trying to portray what I'm saying as being like controversial or a little...
You're saying that the England manager can't get a Premier League job?
Yes, and that is the least controversial thing that I've ever said. Gareth Southgate is nowhere near Premier League quality. Absolutely. It's impossible to align any of the attributes that Gareth Southgate's... his ability is no. I'm speechless. Very rare that I am rendered speechless. But I think that you're being clever here because you're trying to position what I'm saying as being wild or being left field. Gareth Southgate, think about what he has achieved, if you want to use that word, and maybe I need to consult my OED on the word achieved if I'm using it correctly there. Think about what he has done as England manager.
Oh, Rory, this isn't the message we're getting. Southgate. Send him to Accrington Stanley. He's that shocking. Southgate is the most overrated manager on the planet. Cautious and picks his favourites. His mistakes cost a world-class England side at the Euros and the World Cup semi-finals. He survived because he's polished and says the right things. He'll get slaughtered in the Premier League. That's from Adam.
He won't get a Premier League job, so this will never be put to the test. But he wouldn't last 6 weeks as a Premier League manager. Let me ask you this, right now, especially with his ties and his links with Crystal Palace.
Roy Hodgson leaves at the end of the season, for example.
Out of the frying pan into the fire, eh?
Would you be Palace fans? Would any Palace fans that are listening right now? I'm sure I've just seen one of our colleagues in here who's a big Eagles fan. Would they have Gareth Southgate?
The only reason, and I don't know enough about the history and culture of Crystal Palace, so a Palace fan may correct me here. There may be some acceptance because he was a former player.
Yeah.
There may be a bit of love for him because of that, and if it's that, but that's like asking an Arsenal fan, would you have Henry as manager? Of course they would. Would a Chelsea fan have Lampard as manager? Of course we would. Would you have, I don't know, Jurgen Klinsmann as manager? Of course you would, because of the love and the history. But if you are being rational about it, Gareth Southgate does not get a look in. Have a look through the Premier League clubs, think about the manager that they have, and think about the drop-off in level to the ability of Gareth Southgate from the manager that is currently in position. It's incomparable, and no, he doesn't get anywhere near a Premier League job. He will never, I guarantee you this, he will never, ever manage a Premier League club.
I've just seen our colleague who I was talking about who he would take him. Our colleague would take him.
Because it's blind love and loyalty. It's blind love and loyalty because of what Gareth Southgate has done for Crystal Palace, because there is a pre-existing relationship. This is born out of nothing other than a pre-existing relationship. This isn't rational, is it? This isn't like rational chat. This is, I'm a Palace fan and Southgate played for us and I quite like the bloke. This can't be. I respect him and think that his managerial acumen will help take Crystal Palace into Europe. It just can't be.
There's so many messages coming in as well. Okay, so you're saying he comes out of the England job, there is no Premier League team for him whatsoever.
No, he's not good enough to manage England. He shouldn't be the England manager. He obviously isn't the man to preside over the most talented crop of England players that has arguably ever existed. This crop of players is elite. This crop of players is incomparable to anything that has existed before.
We've got the best striker in the world right now.
Best midfielder in the world right now. Do you know what? If you look at, to demonstrate the brilliance of this England side, I think if you just look at the players that don't get a look in, it tells you how good we are. Like James Maddison wouldn't start for England. Best player in the Premier League, arguably, wouldn't start for England. Jared Bowen, incredible player, doing it consistently, winning silverware, doesn't get to a look in.
Well, James Ward-Prowse doesn't even get in the squad.
James Ward-Prowse doesn't get in the squad. Raheem Sterling doesn't get in the squad. Like, that is how good this England team are. We have so many top-class players who can't get a look in. Obviously, Gareth Southgate isn't equipped to deal with that. I don't think we're going to win a tournament.
Tom, who's a Palace fan, Southgate, not a chance. We'd be down by a Feb. The only two names we should be looking at is Steve Cooper or Kieran McKenna. If Gareth Southgate doesn't win anything with England, he shouldn't manage again. He's got the pick of some of the best players on the planet. He's achieved nothing. I do not often agree with Rory, but Rory, you're bang on.
As a Tottenham fan, I tell you, that's Dave, a Tottenham fan. Yeah. You know that I'm onto something when I've got Tottenham fans backing me up. You know that there's truth. Like, let's think about Gareth Southgate's crowning moment as England manager, which is probably getting England to the final at Wembley. Can we just analyse that for 1 second? England got to a final in a really... We had a nice pathway. Yeah. We played an entire tournament at home, bar one game where we popped over to Rome, right? We played the whole tournament at home. We got to the final and we're playing a very beatable Italy team. An Italy team, in fact, who didn't qualify for the World Cups either side of that Euros. So they're not a good Italian side. England, playing 120 minutes of football at Wembley, one shot on target the whole game after 3 minutes. We had one shot on target in 120 minutes. Great shot, great goal. One shot on target. We then didn't win the game. Why? Because Mancini's in the opposite dugout and goes, I know what we can do. We can get Jorginho on the ball a bit more. We can exploit the weaknesses in Mason Mount and we can ultimately take the game to this England team. That is what a manager does. That is an example of good managerial acumen. That is a decent manager who knows what he's doing. And Gareth Southgate basically stood in the home dugout in the rain, didn't know what to do.
Right, it's gone crazy. The messages are coming in left, right,
crazy. You've gone crazy to suggest that this is a thing.
I've not given my opinion yet.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.